Hi, I'm Rich Trout, and I'm a Cubs fan. But I have a more personal connection to the Chicago Cubs since my brother Steve pitched for them during the 80s. And in 1984, the Cubs were within about 3 innings of going to the World Series. While Steve has a talented arm, I spent most of my career as an English teacher. So what I do to support the Cubs is write poetry. And I'd like to read for you today one of the poems I wrote. I did it to the meter of Casey at the Bat, one of the most famous poems in baseball history. And here's how it goes. It's called A Season to Remember. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Cubs since 1908. To win another series would be a long, long wait. They played for all the marbles 5 more times through 45. We all know the outcome. Somehow the dream is still alive. While their hopes were dashed in 84 and again in 2003, a curse, some wrote, was at the core of their dire destiny. But hope still sprang eternal within each die-hard fan. We just need a couple breaks and a well-thought long-term plan. It started when the team was sold to the Ricketts family. They knew a fresh front office would be a vital key. Enter Theo Epstein, who ended Boston's so-called hex. He hired baseball people, the brightest and the best. They drafted players wisely, used free agency and the trade. It soon became quite obvious the right moves they had made. In 2015, they served notice to the rest that the Chicago Cubs were now among the best. While that season was fantastic, it came down to just one game. They had to win in Pittsburgh, the wild card spot to claim. Without a second thought, Joe gave Big Jake the ball, and that October 7th victory was the sweetest one of all. Securely in the playoffs, they were not yet satisfied. They'd have to beat St. Louis to rate as bona fide. When the dust had settled, and to the wonderment of all, the Cubs had won that round and tore the cover off the ball. That season whet their appetite. They set their sights much higher. The 2016 Cubs would light the league on fire. It started with great pitching. Jake, Jason, and 2 Johns, plus Kyle the professor, who allowed the fewest runs. Of course, you need fine catchers to call the game and catch each toss, and we had a trio of good ones, including Grandpa David Ross. Joe Madden kept things loose and fresh. His style to them appealed. He placed his guys in many spots, like Travis in left field. Add to that great hitting from the left and from the right, led by the Brizzo brothers, that Rawlings ball took flight. Fowler set the table and was the admitted catalyst. All 3 were NL All-Stars, as were Russell and Zobrist. The relief corps proved invaluable, and our defense was so great. Gold gloves could be awarded, in this case, I'd say 8. And the bench we had was awesome. They could start for any team. We had Soler Power in left and Javier Baez up the seam. From opening day out west until the magic number 0, they piled up the victories, each day another hero. Like the Montero walk-off win, the 16th of September. In another comeback game the fans will long remember. This team has been a joy. They played with confidence and pride. They put Chicago on their back and took it for a ride. For those who watched and listened, we thank the broadcast team, Pat and Ron, JD and Len. They all shared the dream. As we go into October soon, we can only speculate. Could this be the year which ends that long, long wait? But let me share a secret, friends. I do have a crystal ball. And if the vision I see comes true, the Cubs will win it all. I saw a celebration such as Chicago has never seen. It stretched from north of Wrigleyville to the Millennium Bean. And I heard a chorus of angels sing the anthem, Go, Cubs, Go. It was the voice of Brickhouse, Banks, Carey, and Santo. Oh, all across Chicagoland the sun was shining bright. The band was playing everywhere. Children's hearts were light. What an awesome ending for baseball's longest suffering team. The ghosts of seasons past did fade on Wrigley's Field of Dreams.
Do it, Huey Long!